Good morning, Niagara. You're tuned to Car Connection, where the coffee's hot, the tools are ready, and the talk is always tuned up. I'm your host, Niall Motormouth Jenkins, coming to you straight from the Car Connection workshop, where we mix a little humor, a little know-how, and a whole lot of horsepower. Here, it's not just about fixing cars, it's about keeping you rolling, saving you money, and giving you the confidence to understand what's under that hood. From the classics to the commuters, the weird noises, and to the what the heck moments, we've got you covered. So grab your coffee. If you're just scooting through the drive-thru, double check your order, lock it down in your cup holder, keep an eye on the other guy, and the other guy, your co-pilot, if you have one this morning. Give them the 16-pack of Crayolas, fold it up leaf bag, and tell them it's a Car Connection laptop. Take some notes. So sit back, join the crew, because this is Car Connection, your Monday through Saturday morning pit stop for stories, smarts, and a few good laughs. And I'm Motormouth Jenkins, and we're shifting into drive right here on the Motormouth Morning Drive, Monday through Saturday. So Saturday's program, we're shifting that up to a 60-minute program on Saturdays. So you get an hour of Car Connection on Saturdays, and Monday through Friday, I try to keep it around 30, 38 minutes, and I'm out the door. So stay with us. Stay with us this morning. We got a lot to get through. If you're joining us for the first time, we love our first-time listeners. And just a reminder, everything we talk about lives on our website at carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. That's our biggest drawer in our toolbox. And what you'll find when you land there are all the logos for all of our program partners. And if you want to connect with them and give them your business, we'd really appreciate that. All you do, click on their logo and a profile page will open. All the profile pages are all set up just like McDonald's. The bathrooms are on the right-hand side. All our profile pages, you click and open them. They're set up exactly the same way for our program partners and our recommended business owners, so that you don't get lost. You know, how many of you have been on websites and it's like, this thing is so frustrating, I want to reach in and rip it off the internet? Just me? I'm getting better with therapy. Absolutely. So grab your cup of joe, whatever that is, your morning beverage, lock it in your cup holder. Remember, there's no reversing in the drive-through. That's why they call it drive-through, not reverse-through. I actually saw that happen, and I was there to witness it, and oh my gosh, it was pandemonium in the drive-through. People left their cars, and Buddy's about ready to get a beating within the inch of his life with an empty coffee cup. So just remember that. Check your order before you leave the window, and do not attempt to reverse into the drive-through. So it's rules of engagement. That's what it is. So we have rules of engagement as well on the homepage of our website, top right-hand corner. All our links are there for you, for our YouTube channel, also for Instagram, Facebook, Stevensvilleontheweb.ca. That's a website that our videographer put together many years ago. He lives in Stevensville. My parents are in Stevensville for almost 40 some odd years, and I like to shop there as well. So the website was created to bring community and family-owned and operated businesses together, and it's a really cool way to connect. So if you just click on the businesses tab and you look for Car Connection, you will find us, and our profile page is there. You can email me through that website, or you can email me directly at niall@ccbusnet.com. There is a website form also on our website, which is the biggest tool. You know, quite often what we have is too many choices. So I like sending you to our website, because that's where everything is. We have our online store there. You purchase some merchandise through there. You become part of the Car Connection Motormouth crew, and a portion of the proceeds go to help those struggling with addiction to get to a total freedom addiction campus for Canadians and also for Americans alike. That's what they deal with there. They will find a new life there. Trust me. So come along with the crew and help us to do that. And you don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, follow us the whole 9 yards on our YouTube channel, where I teach all the basic fundamentals of looking after your automobile, servicing it yourself, learning some of the language as well, so that when you take your vehicle to the automotive repair shop, you are armed with knowledge. Because I teach 5 things all the time in all the videos. We have fun. Skippy makes reels and bloopers and outtakes that you'll find on our Facebook and Instagram platforms that you won't find anywhere else. Our YouTube videos, we have almost 100 videos up there. We put 3 videos up every single week. But I teach you 5 things: what it is, where it is, how it works, how it breaks, and what you could have learned just in knowing some basic fundamentals to save yourself a pocket full of money. So instead of, not understanding how your automobile works and causing breakages that you don't need to really be spending money on. So that's what our YouTube channel is all about. And secondly, when the channel becomes monetized, we want to be able to fix vehicles for widows, orphans, single moms, and just those that are going through a very difficult financial time, maybe loss of a job or both jobs, or, there's more month than money. And we want to be able to pay for the parts and provide the labor at no cost, or in return, just let us shoot the videos so that we can teach you a lot more of those basic automotive fundamentals. We're trying out some new gear today. I am the host, the writer, the producer, the thingamy, take care of it, there's a problem here guy, and adjustments and things like that. So I'm trying out some new gear this morning. Send me an email, niall@ccbusnet.com. Just let me know what it sounds like out there. It sounds pretty decent here. It's always interesting getting used to something new when it comes to broadcasting. Leaving radio after 31 years this past November, everything in our studio has been set up exactly the same way for a long time. So it's like, turn it on, check, make sure everything works. Sound levels are all preset for me. And now we're kind of starting back to ground zero. When you change equipment, it changes the sound, and it takes a little bit before you get it completely dialed in. So let me know what it sounds like out there. I don't want to set my volumes too loud so I blow you right out of your car or wherever you're listening from. And we are on all the major platforms: Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and iHeartRadio. Wherever you're pulling your podcasts from, just type in the search bar Car Connection Workshop and you will find us there. Well, we're going to jump into a topic this morning that I haven't spent a whole lot of time on yet, and that is why modern cars are harder to own even if they're more reliable. Reliability versus complexity versus ownership stress. And that is so true. So true. So stick around. We got the daily weather coming up in just a moment, but most importantly, it's Swiggy time. So get your favorite morning beverage, whatever that may be. It could be, I don't know, a chai latte, a smoothie, a Flub Dipple Ripple double decaf with a half calf and a twist. I don't know, but we have high octane. That's us. So whatever it is, we count it down on 3, 2, 1. This morning's Swiggy is brought to us by Rainbow Motors and Garage up in Scarborough, Ontario, Canada. Sales and service that you can trust. You can purchase a vehicle there and have it serviced there. They repair all years, makes, and models, including light commercial vehicles as well. Rita and Ramiz Shanuda are the brothers up there running the place. They do have a small inventory of vehicles, but if they don't have what you're looking for, let them know. They have the resources to find that specific vehicle you're looking for. They sell no junk up there, and some of their vehicles also qualify for extended aftermarket warranty programs. So thank you to Rita and Ramiz at Rainbow Motors. You'll find them on our website. As I mentioned already, that's our biggest toolbox. Their logos are there. Click and open their profile. So that's what we're going to be talking about this morning, but we're going to count this down and have a swiggy together. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I think I almost lost myself in that one. Can we have one more, do you think? Just one more? Please, just pick one more donut. I will. Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Car Connection is also brought to you by City Auto Sales and Leasing. That's Earl and Louise Grant up there in Toronto, in the Greater Toronto Area, and they have earned the moniker Greater Toronto Area's premier pre-owned auto store. They have a large inventory under roof and also on the lot. Sales and leasing. They do in-house financing, low mileage quality vehicles at fair prices. And they all tell you they do not sell any junk there as well. 25 years in the business. Earl and Louise Grant, they know the ins and outs of the business. If you're looking for a vehicle specific, again, let them know what it is that you're looking for. If they don't have it, they have the resources to find it for you. Low mileage, quality vehicles at fair prices. You can buy with confidence and be treated with nothing less than honesty and integrity. Well, let's take a look at the daily weather. It's a little creepy today. It is not one of my favorites, and I'm glad I'm not on the road. But if you're on the road today, please, please, please take it easy out there, because freezing rain warning. I have been caught out in some freezing rain in the past, and let me tell you, yeah, your heart feels like it's pumping peanut butter. When your vehicle's sliding sideways and there's tractor trailers sliding sideways, it's almost like, bowling balls out of control and pins. Maybe a little closer to curling. And you see everybody is sliding sideways and on the ramps of the 401, and you're going, this is like slow-mo, the slow-mo gizmo, and you're just hoping you don't get squashed. Yeah, so take it easy out there. Freezing rain warning. These conditions started at 5 a.m. this morning, Wednesday, February the 18th. Snow is forecasted and expected to start in our area in the Niagara region in about 4 minutes. So we're going to have some very weird stuff going on today. And I'll tell you, here's a little secret for you. Driving in freezing rain. So dude is in front of you on the highway, okay? Look at his tires, his rear tires. If he's leaving tire tread marks, that means it's wet. But if all of a sudden the cars in front of you are not leaving tire tracks on the blacktop, that means you're on ice. That's what that means. So if you're driving out there today, that's a little secret that an older gentleman taught me many years ago. He said, you just keep an eye on your surroundings, back off on your speed. As soon as you cannot see tire tracks of the vehicles in front of you on the roadway, that means you're on ice, solid ice. So that's when you don't hit the brake, you let off the gas, and just let the car naturally start to slow down. As soon as you hit that brake pedal, you are that next curling stone heading into the circles. And it won't be good. I'm just looking, as I'm talking, I'm looking at the radar. We have a huge something or other coming our way, heading right toward us. So it's going to be a little messy out there today. So take it very, very easy. 100% chance of precipitation, whether it's rain or snow in your area. I don't know. A high for today is going to be 36, and the low is going to be 31. And I've been outside already at 4 o'clock this morning, and it's quite cool out here on the south shores of Lake Erie. We're shooting a video next week. We're going to post that up on our YouTube channel and show you the South Shore where we're located. There's ice castles, ice caves, and the entire lake, first time in a number of years now, is completely frozen over. And it is kind of creepy and also Very interesting. So we're Skippy and I are going to shoot that video next week. We put all the shots together so that we put something together really, really nice for you to have a look at. The reason why we need to make sure that we prepare our vehicles for winter, especially along the south shore of Lake Erie. We can have winter blasts that go for 2 or 3 days, and often St. Catharines, Hamilton, and even Niagara on the Lake get nothing. It's blue sky and it's sunny. So we have to prepare here. That means having our generators ready, having fuel in the home ready to go to keep the Jennies going, and extra food in the pantry. And we got to be prepared for maybe having 2 or 3 days without any electricity, and even a snowmobile. And last few years haven't even needed it, but this year, yeah, we've got a lot of snow down here, and a lot has melted in the last couple of days, but today could make things a whole lot different. So please be careful out there. Drive with reference to the road conditions, all right? Yeah. So remember, if you don't see tire tracks on the road in front of you, that means it's ice. Adjust your speed. All right, shall we jump into this, do you think? Yeah, absolutely. And we still have the 30-day fuel savings challenge going on. No one has signed up for it yet. So I'm going to give you my email address directly to our website. It comes directly to my mailbox, Niall@ccbusnet.com. That's Niall@ccbusnet.com. And there is also a website form on our website where you can send me an email through there as well. It's for my eyes only. If you want to sign up for the 30-day fuel savings challenge, I'll tell you, bare minimum, you're going to save $100 a month. That's $1,200 on one vehicle in your household for 1 year. Are you getting a $1,200 raise? That's the question only you can answer. You're going to get that tap on the shoulder at work today, and the boss says, you're a really good team player. We're going to give you $100 more on your paycheck per week just for being a good you. I'm laughing because I can't remember that ever happening. I just can't. I can't remember that ever happening. Although I did work for a gentleman, and here's what he would say. If you have to come and ask me for a raise, that's not the question you really need to ask. What you really need to ask is, what do I need to do in order to earn more money? That's the question. And quite often, I'd look at my paycheck and go, wow, it's more. You didn't in that shop, you just needed to perform. You didn't need to go ask for more money. They would give it to you and not even say anything. Then you'd go and say, I think there was a mistake here. The bookkeeper gave me more money than I should get. He said, no, that's what you deserve. You guys have been working well. So that's what I used to tell my guys in the shop as well. If you got to come and pull on my coveralls and say, hey, when am I getting a raise? I reminded them the same thing. No, the question you should be asking me is, what can I do to earn a raise without asking? There you go. All right, let's jump into today's title. It's a heavy-duty one. Honest to goodness, I may even blow out some of the little gray men in my brain. Why modern cars are harder to own even if they're more reliable. Reliability versus complexity versus ownership stress. Well, the first thing I'd like to say that I don't agree with is, yeah, they're kind of reliable, but when things start going bad, it kind of snowballs a little bit. And that's where our fleet service maintenance comes in, is not waiting until, not being a reactive maintenance person versus a responsive. And we just recorded that video for you so that you can see me break down and have a tantrum in the workshop. No, break it down for you and unpack it, the science behind fleet service maintenance. And that's what I did for many years for large companies. We had a lot of fleets that we had the tender for. And in order to keep those fleets coming back and getting the tender the next year, that meant we needed to service those things to the nines. That means we didn't get a vehicle in the shop and a week later it's broken down. That does not go over well. Or we missed something. So that's how I've said this before. I created a checklist that I had at my own toolbox in my own lane so that I could follow along and not miss something. Exactly. So I tailored that to light truck and passenger vehicles so that you can stay ahead of the curve. That's how you're going to save a lot of money on repairs, is taking the responsibility and take charge and control of your vehicle maintenance. So we just shot that video. It'll be up on our YouTube channel, not this Friday, a week from this Friday. It is scheduled to drop. And we drop videos 3 times a week, 2 on Tuesday, 1 every Friday at 4:30 every single week. Well, let's start out with electronic failures versus mechanical failures on today's automobiles. Well, how many of you have experienced the check engine light? Probably a number of you. And when that check engine light comes on, you tend to have a little bit of a fit, right? What's this going to cost? Exactly. That most people, that is a normal reaction. What is this going to cost? Well, what we can't do is ignore it. If you ignore it, then guess what? If something else goes wrong or something else is going awry along with that, the service light can't come on a second time. If it's already on, it's on. And so we need to make sure that we get the vehicle into the shop right away, not wait 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. I've had people actually put a picture of, their ex-mother-in-law over the service engine light so that they could look at that instead of the service light and drive around for a whole year with the service light on. Well, it starts and it runs. That's not the point. That is not the point. The point is the service light is there to remind you. And I watch a few of these YouTube channels that talk about plane crashes, and they break it out and talk about what caused the crash in the first place and how many times. And there were a couple of really bad plane wrecks just before Christmas that wiped out families that could have been avoided if the pilot had said to the passenger or the owner of the plane that they're flying it for, say, this plane isn't leaving the runway. We're not going up. There's something going wrong, and we need to get a technician out here to look at it. But instead, they put it in the air. And that's the pilot error right there. Other pilot error is not knowing how to use the instruments. So VFR or IFR, instrument flight rating, or visual flight rating. So if you don't have both, then that means if you can't see visual flight rating, then you cannot fly IFR, instrument flight rules. That's what it means, instrument flight rules. So what are you doing up there if the weather changes and you can't fly visual flight rules? What do you do then? You're not qualified to fly IFR by instruments only. So like having dark glasses on, you've got to fly by the instruments. So the biggest thing is it's either, from what I can draw a conclusion to, it's either not completely qualified to fly in specific situations. Number 2, there's something not quite right with the aircraft, but you leave the ground anyway. Now imagine if that's you, and that's that car that I just talked about, the picture of the ex-mother-in-law is over the service light. If you were an aircraft and you're the pilot, and it's your job to make sure that that aircraft is 100% solid to leave the ground. Imagine a captain coming on the plane, speakers, and saying, well, we're missing one wheel today, but we should be okay. Would you be okay with that? Well, one of the other wheels, the nut is not quite tight enough, but we'll take care of it at the other end if we're able to land. Would that be all right? Well, that's the way we need to view today's vehicles. If you want to stay out of trouble with them, they are, I have to say, they are to a degree more reliable, but there's certain makes and models that are just problematic. And the only way as a service tech we can stay ahead of that storm is that we get the vehicle in right away on a regular basis so we can stay ahead of the storm. And I like to use the 2008 Nissan Rogue that we had donated to Car Connection, and we brought it back from what it was going to be used for. It was going to end up in the wrecking yard as a parts vehicle, and we've brought it back to life. But it took taking care of all the neglect, stuff that had not been taken care of, and the vehicle sat for 13 months. It never moved. It never started. It never left the driveway. So when that happens, that's more areas that have problems that need to be taken care of. Because when you drive less, your vehicle needs more service. If it's sitting around more, it needs more service than a vehicle that's working on the up and down the highway, tootling back and forth to wherever it is you go during the day. Hopefully it's, home to work, home to work, home to work, home to work. Yeah, and you're not making car payments and interest payments. Hopefully not, because the best vehicle in the driveway is the one that's paid for. The problem with, and I'm going to pick on the domestics because it is a pattern failure. They're using cheaper electronics, but the price tag on the windshield doesn't reflect the goods that are being sold, period. That's why I don't buy domestic automobiles anymore. That's the reason right there. Can't afford to fix all the electronic stupid stuff that doesn't happen on other vehicles like the foreign cars. Every Cadillac I had exactly the same problems: wipers, air conditioning, and heating and air conditioning control units. Every single one, whether it was a Buick or whether it was Cadillac, a GM product. I had a number of Buicks, all the same thing: wipers, air conditioning, heater controls, and heater. Every single time. Oh, and don't forget power window problems. Same things today. Why is that? Because they put the cheapest electronics in their vehicles. They need to get smarter. Because the other car manufacturers, I got a 99 Honda out there. It's going to be a member of it's reaching the 400,000 kilometer club. All the electronics work fine. It's 99. Yeah. So there's the difference. There's the pattern failure. The domestics are using the cheapest electronics, and the other vehicle manufacturers are using really good electronics. I can't even tell you the last time I changed a window regulator on a foreign car. A power window regulator. Nope. Switches. Nope. Sensors. Nope. They're reliable. That's why I question that when it comes out and it says reliability versus complexity versus ownership stress. That's why I don't drive a domestic. I'd like to support them, and I have in the past. We have a 67 Chev pickup truck, Mr. Green Jeans. He runs very well. Everything's good to go. That's 1967. Would I buy one today? No. That's my personal opinion, and that's the reason why. Reliability? No. Stupid things are always broken? Yes. All the time. I watch my parents go through that with domestic vehicles. Always something. There's always something. going on. So you got to stay ahead of the curve. If you're going to drive that stuff, you're going to pay. You're going to pay. There's no doubt about it. We used to always say, the guys in the shop used to always say, Generous Motors. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have anything to do today, Niall. Is that a shot? I think it's a shot that should say, you need to smarten up out there and start putting something together that has real meat and substance for the value. Value of goods and quality of goods don't match. They don't match. So that's where, whatever your heart desires that you want to drive, that's your business. But as for me in my house, I can't afford to drive that stuff. For time, parts, got to get parts cannon at it all the time. And that's where I challenge the reliability. The reliability is based on the product, unfortunately. And I know a lot of GM workers that are driving Hondas and Toyotas. Why is that? Why is that, do you think? I know a lot of techs that work at domestic dealerships. That's the product they sell. And they service, and they fix the same things over and over and over and over again. Pattern failures, that's what they work on every single day on only a few makes and models. But for a general automotive service technician out there, you got to be able to work on everything. All makes, models, and manufacturers of vehicles. You got to know them all. And that's where we see, as service techs, we see the reliability on certain makes and models is not there. So I disagree with that one, that they're more reliable. Depends on what you're driving. That's what I'm saying. Our 07 Toyota FJ Cruiser, it's been a peach. I had a couple of problems with it right out of the gate when I bought it. And after the first 60 days, it settled in. And we've been fine ever since. I go through a few alternators periodically, but that's just the way that goes. That's a wear and tear item. I think I've had 3 on there in almost 400,000 Ks, so that's not too bad, right? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And the reason is, purpose of an alternator is to supply electricity to all the accessories that you're running in the vehicle. That's what it's for. It's not a battery charger. Sorry, Armchair Warriors, it's not. Challenge me anytime you want on that. Anytime. An alternator takes about 60 days to charge a battery if you just boost and go. And we've done a video on that, so you can watch that on our YouTube channel. So I break that out for you so that you understand batteries need to be charged up slowly and brought back to life. In fact, I just shot a video last week on a battery that was in our 99 Honda, a Honda Civic DX, sorry. It was good, and then overnight it wasn't good. And it was the batteries from 2018. It was expensive then. It was like almost $300 battery because it's the only battery that fits because of its dimensions. But anyways, I'll cut the story short. In 2 weeks, I've managed, because I had the time to do it, I brought that battery back to life. It's going to survive. How much longer? I'm not sure, but it's showing itself to be good now. And it wasn't. It wasn't good, but now it is. So there you go. If you have the time to do that, I was able to bring a battery back to life for a single mom with a minivan. And same thing. I needed a couple of days, let it come back to room temperature before I even touch it. And then we were able to save that battery as well. That was a $300 battery. Where am I going with this? Well, we'll take the steering wheel here and turn sharp left. So electronic failures versus mechanical failures. Every vehicle is going to have wear and tear items. Brakes, steering, suspension, exhaust, engine components. They still need tuning up. So all the mechanicals, that's never changed. Whether we're working on a 99 or a 67, that's never changed. It's always the same. Wear and tear items. Although I will say this. The components on Mr. Green Jeans, 1967, you can grease that whole front end all the suspension and steering components. In today's world, you can't grease them anymore. So whatever grease is in the component, once that grease congeals, it now doesn't move around and lubricate the component, it wears out. So mechanical failures. Just about every vehicle is going to have it. Again, it's based in my opinion, it's based on the quality of the product that the manufacturer's putting out. There's where the difference is. You cannot compare the cost of running a domestic vehicle to the cost of a foreign vehicle or a European vehicle. It's different. It's a different animal altogether. Different quality of components. Even the vehicles put together differently. I love European cars. They are expensive, but you know what? The fit and finish would never fly in Europe of a domestic car. Would not. The quality of domestic car compared to a European car is an apple to an orange, period. It really is. But you've got to be prepared to take care of that European car. It is not a domestic car. It is not. And mechanics have problems with that. They think they can work on a European car like they work on a domestic vehicle. No, you can't. They're a whole different breed of animal. And they use much higher quality product and fit and finish and trim and paint, the whole 9 yards. They're not the same. So that's where I have differences there. It depends. Reliability depends on the product. I guess that's where I'm trying to get to, and do it in a nice way without bashing anybody. I don't want to bash. This channel is not about that. 31 years on the radio, I've never had a rant and bashed somebody. There's good and bad in all things, people included, and pets. If they're a biter, I don't want it around the house. That's it. If I'm afraid to let the dog or the animal outside because it's going to take off, I don't need it. That's stress. That's too much stress. So that's where it comes down to what you're purchasing. There's good and bad in all automobiles, but there's automobiles that last longer because they're made better. That's where I'm going. And that's where I stand. I've had and owned a lot of automobiles, and I'll tell you there's a reason why. If you come past the Car Connection workshop, there is not one domestic vehicle in the driveway. Not one. I can't afford the time and constantly throwing the same parts at problems that should have been resolved many years ago, but they still put out the same crap. And now I'm picking on them a little bit. They need to go back to the basics and start giving people quality product. And I look at the warranties. 3 years, 60,000 kilometers. Come on, is that the best you can give me for the thing you've sold me for how many thousands of dollars? And the depreciation. The size and amount of depreciation on a domestic vehicle in 3 years is disgusting. I saw my parents go through that. You know, back in the 80s, they bought an F-250. They paid 1988. They paid almost $40,000 for that. And we can laugh today because it's more money than that. And they owned it for like 7 years, and they were offered less than $10,000 for it, and it was still in almost pristine condition. That's a lot of lost cash, in my opinion. So let's move on. I don't want to digress. I want to get through all this. We're running out of time this morning. And again, let me know what it sounds like today. Send me an email, niall@ccbusnet.com, because I do re-listen, but I want to know what you're hearing out there, and we can make adjustments on the fly as we working with some new equipment today for the first time. Number 2, subscription features and software locks. Well, here's the problem at our end, having to fix this stuff, is we have to buy subscriptions to access information because the manufacturers are making it difficult for us guys that are mom and pop shops versus the dealer. They make it very difficult for us to access information without getting our wallets out and spending thousands of dollars on access to information to fix your car. Subscriptions for things like, what do they call it? I can't remember. I'm having a brain fart this morning. Not enough coffee yet. Is for the stereo, for connectivity, for XM radio, Sirius radio, having to pay for that. You know what? That's, to me, that's a person's preference. If you buy a vehicle that's equipped with that, then if you want to use that product, you're going to pay for it. But for us in the service bays, we have to pay for subscriptions to access the information and software in order to, if we have to change a computer on your domestic vehicle, guess what? It doesn't come with a brain. It has to be programmed, and we don't have access to that information. So that's the part that I'm talking about there, is that it's difficult for us if we put a transmission control module in your vehicle because it's gone defunct. We have to pay the dealer to put the knowledge back into that component because it comes with nothing, no software loaded, nothing. It's just a box till they turn it on and load the software in. So having access to that information is a challenge for the mom and pop shops, just so you know. It's a huge challenge that we undergo on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, is gaining access to the information to be able to fix your car, period. So all computer control units that we have to install have no software in. So we've done the work, we've diagnosed it, and we know what it is, and we order the part. Now we got to pay the dealer to program it. Yeah. That's a program all in itself. Is the Right to Repair Act continues in Canada. It's gotten better, but it costs the automotive shops a lot of money to have the subscriptions to all the different makes and models to access knowledge and information to be able to fix your product that you're driving. So things, although vehicles are more complex than they used to be, you know what? If I was asked, would I like to drive down to the Florida Keys to visit my friend Ty down there, sending me pictures yesterday. It's beautiful, beautiful weather, beautiful scenery, and he's a snowbird. Would I take Mr. Green Jeans, our 1967 Chevy pickup truck, and go all the way down there? Well, if that's all I had, I definitely would. Or would I rather take the FJ Cruiser or the 08 Nissan Rogue? Yes, I would go for the comfort control over Mr. Green Jeans. Yeah, I would definitely do that. So more reliability versus complexity versus ownership stress. Again, it all comes back to whose product you're driving and the pattern failures that have still not been repaired after all these years, and quality, fit, finish, quality of suspension, steering, brakes, electronics, all of it. To me, there's no excuse anymore saying, well, owning and operating a Honda or a Hyundai or a Nissan or a Toyota costs more money. Not anymore. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. That is false. Evidence appearing real. Absolutely. Today's vehicles getting very, very difficult for the DIYer, the do-it-yourself person, becoming just about impossible. Sealed transmissions, sealed engine oil systems where there's no drain plug anymore. Gaining access to stuff is a whole lot more difficult. The do-it-yourselfer has really got to know what you're doing, because you can do a whole lot more damage than good. And that's where I leave it in simple terms. Know your limits, do-it-yourselfers. Know your mechanical ability, know your electronic ability, your electrical ability. If you do not feel confident, do not touch it. If you don't have the tools and the equipment, do not touch it. You will end up costing yourself a whole lot more money than you could ever even imagine, just letting somebody take care of it right from the very beginning instead of hacking at it yourself and causing a lot of problems and costing you more money. And I say that politely because that's what happens. We see it a lot. Not as much as we used to, because vehicles are getting complicated, and you can cause a lot more damage than good by having a go at it on your own. So thanks for tuning in this morning. Make it a safe day out there. The weather is going to be sketchy. I don't want to hear about anybody spinning out and going into the rhubarb patch and having a really, really bad day after that, because everything changes, right? Everything changes in a heartbeat. So drive safe. Adjust your driving habits to the road conditions. Keep an eye on the roadway. Keep an eye on those around you that drive like idiots, even when the weather and the road conditions are just not there to support that type of driving. Be aware. Be aware of your surroundings today on the road more so than ever, because freezing rain, as I said, I've driven in it before, and I'll tell you, it is not one of my favorites. When the words freezing rain or possible freezing rain come up, I sit up like a marmoset. And I go, I'm not, whatever I got going that I need to go out on the road, it's not today. Change it. Change of plans. Thank you to our certified financial planning professionals, Tony Miele and Larry Tetro, with 50 years experience as fiduciaries with IG Wealth Management. They can help you with investment portfolio, debt retirement, estate planning, and powers of attorney, setting up a mortgage for you, as well as life insurance, critical illness insurance, and all your questions can be answered by those who have the fruit on the tree. That's Tony Miele and Larry Tetro. You have access to an hour and a coffee of their time to sit down and discuss your situation, your circumstances. Although circumstances can have some similarities, but different. And that's the way it works. I've worked with Tony Miele and Larry Tetro for over 20 years. These guys are two of the best in Canada. Take advantage of their generosity in giving you an hour and a coffee, a discovery meeting. No sales. Leave your wallet at home. You don't need to take your wallet with you. And take your information and get your questions answered by those who have the answers. They're certified financial planning professionals, and they'd be more than happy to give you an hour of their time. They don't need any more clients. They're super, super busy. But because you know me and you know Car Connection, they're offering you an hour of their time to see how they can help you in your circumstances. So don't get caught under your circumstances. Get out from under them and get the answers to your questions. Thank you to Crystal Ridge Dream Center, our faith-based nonprofit organization serving men and women and children meals, love, and hope in the entire Niagara region. They have programs for children, big humans, small humans, single moms, and seniors, changing lives one at a time in the Niagara region. Check them out online, become a monthly donor, or even invest some of your time and be a volunteer. Something that you could do. You're looking for something to do, that's a great place to do it. If you donate $25 or more, there are tax receipts that will come out to you. Total Freedom Addiction campuses available to you in Canada and the U.S. Your new life awaits you. So if you or someone you know is struggling with an addiction, that is a catalyst for you to get that taken care of. You make that decision. It's an alternative addictions program bringing healing and restoration to individuals and families enslaved by cycles of addiction and destructive behaviors. Because you can't fight what you can't see. So till tomorrow, happy, healthy motoring. What are we talking about tomorrow? Let's see if I can find that here for a second. Oh, lifetime fluids. The biggest cost shifting trick in the automotive history. Absolutely. That's going to be a great topic tomorrow. So we'll see you at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning for another Motormouth morning drive. Be careful out there. Drive safe. Keep it under 100 and put that coffee on. Peace, patience, kindness always. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye for now.